Thanks for joining me again this week. What we've been watching since last Friday in Los Angeles, immigration raids followed by protests that incited an unprecedented, over-the-top and unnecessary federal response, quite frankly, could happen here. What is chilling about all of this is how the federal government has crossed the line. Over California Governor Gavin Newsom's objection, President Trump invoked the Insurrection Act to deploy the National Guard in California. That hasn't happened since the Civil Rights era, when federal troops are used to enforce civil rights over the objections of segregationist governors. Protesting and civil disobedience are not insurrections. The president should know the difference because on January 6th, he actually encouraged an insurrection. No one in these protests had the objective of overthrowing the government. Conflating the two very different actions will invariably lead to violating people's civil rights. A protester engaging in civil disobedience, say blocking an entrance, can be charged with a civil offense, and that would be normal. But charging them with an act of insurrection is a grotesque misuse of power and a violation of a person's constitutional rights. To make matters worse, we're seeing the opposite. The federal government is using force against the state that is trying to de-escalate the situation and even threatening to arrest Governor Newsom. There is no evidence that the state could not control the protests. In fact, they were already making arrests of people who were violating the law in their actions. Bringing in the Guard or the Army was meant to escalate tensions and create fear, which was totally unnecessary. These actions should concern everyone. I've protested injustice throughout my life. My first demonstration was 1961, and I will always support the right of people to protest. People engaging in civil disobedience also understand that they could well be arrested if they continue an action after they've been told to stop. The right to protest is a fundamental right, but if you break a county law as an act of civil disobedience, you have to expect that the laws will be enforced. Being arrested, though, does not mean you will be charged with insurrection. In fact, you won't. I have a responsibility to keep our community safe, whether you're demonstrating or standing on a police line. That's why I've been in close contact with our police chief and MCPD leadership. We're reviewing our policies around demonstrations and re-emphasizing our commitment to de-escalation. MCPD does not and will not participate in immigration enforcement. This isn't just a police issue. Our Office of Community Partnerships, Regional Service Centers, and our Department of Health and Human Services are all engaged with community members right now to make sure people have trusted information and support. This week also brought the implementation of a new travel ban. It targets 19 countries, mostly Black, Brown, or Muslim majority nations. Big surprise there. This ban also includes Haiti, which is 95% Christian. But I want to make a special note about Haiti. Haiti gained its independence from the French in the early 19th century. Since its creation, the United States has opposed it and tried to undermine it because what the United States feared was the creation of an independent Black republic right across the waters from the southern states where slavery was practiced. What they didn't want to see was a Black republic that could indicate their ability to govern themselves as an example to slaves in the United States as to what they were actually capable of. The United States has sabotaged Haiti repeatedly, and in my lifetime, and no doubt in many of yours, we were directly involved in two dictatorships, Papa Doc and Baby Doc, that relished in torturing, murdering, and extorting people. And these were our allies. So Haiti's troubles are largely due to the intervention by the United States over a long period of years, and we ought to be aware of that. Meanwhile, countries like Saudi Arabia and Qatar, both with records of supporting actual terrorism which impacted the United States, but where the president has growing business interests and political ties, are exempt from the ban. This has nothing to do with national security. It's about discrimination and control. All of the nations impacted by the ban have residents and relatives living here in Montgomery County. I encourage anyone being impacted by this travel ban to contact our Gilchrist Immigrant Resource Center. With both a parade as well as protests planned for this weekend, we have a lot of activity to monitor to ensure that everyone is peaceful, safe, and have their constitutional rights respected. On a happier note, the opening of Trader Joe's at the Square on Thursday was a significant step forward for Rockville's efforts to stimulate growth and revitalization in Rockville Town Center. It adds a well-known anchor to the center and reflects the continued momentum we're seeing across the county. I was glad that they were able to replace what was intended to be a grocery anchor with a well-known grocery store. Rockville's success is important to the county. It's a hub for jobs, housing, culture, and innovation, especially in our growing bio-life sciences corridor. This rebranding of Rockville Town Square into The Square is helping to create a more attractive destination for residents, businesses, and larger employers looking to invest here. This project reflects what we've heard from the community. People want more local business activity, more events, and a better pedestrian experience. The return of a grocery store was a priority, and the addition of Trader Joe's meets that need. I'm optimistic about what's ahead for the Square in Rockville. These kind of investments are helping build a stronger local economy and a more vibrant place to live and work. Montgomery County has been awarded more than $15 million from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development to expand high-speed internet access in our affordable housing communities. This includes a second round of funding, nearly $7.5 million, to expand broadband to more than 2,200 affordable housing units throughout the MoCoNet program. This is in addition to the first round we received last year, which brought high-speed service to over 1,500 homes. Altogether, more than 3,000 households will be connected. I want to thank Governor Moore, Secretary Jake Day, and the Office of Statewide Broadband for their leadership and support. This is the largest award given to any jurisdiction in the state through this program, and it will have a direct impact on people's lives. We know that internet access is essential. People need it to do their homework, find jobs, access healthcare, and stay connected. But having access to the internet isn't enough if you don't have the right device. I've been pleased with the work of our Office of Technology and Business Solutions, we usually call it TEBS, to address the digital divide. Last year, the department won Best Municipal or Public Connectivity Program by expanding free internet and promoting digital equity. Through TEBS Montgomery Connects program, we've also distributed more than 60,000 free laptop computers to lower-income residents over the last several years. Our final large-scale distribution effort reached 25,000 residents just last year. We've worked hard to make sure families not only have a connection, but also the tools they need to be connected. This broadband investment builds on that work. It's part of our larger strategy to improve economic opportunity and support our residents. We're moving quickly with our partners at the Housing Opportunities Commission and Affordable Homes and Communities to get this work underway, and we expect it to be complete by next September. I want to highlight how dangerous it was this week for Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s decision to remove 17 members from the CDC's Vaccine Advisory Committee. These are actual experts whose job is to review science and give public health guidance. You don't just wipe out decades of expertise because you don't like what they have to say and what the evidence shows. It is absurd to listen to Kennedy claim that this was done to rebuild public trust. If anything, this will only undermine the trust people have in vaccines and in public health more broadly. Once again, the guy who says not to listen to him for medical advice is undermining public health by imposing his uninformed, unscientific views on an agency that has contributed enormously to saving lives and protecting public health. It puts people at risk. It's also a direct threat to innovation. Many of the companies here in Montgomery County, some of them are the most respected names in bio and life sciences, are working on vaccines and next-generation therapeutics. They depend on a reliable regulatory agency that has clarity and scientific integrity. When the federal government starts playing games with public health infrastructure, it disrupts the entire pipeline of medical innovation. I also want to recognize the NIH researchers who just released the Bethesda Declaration. It's a courageous and principled stand against political interference in science. They're calling out decisions that are actively undermining NIH's mission, cutting off billions in life-saving research, and threatening academic freedom. I'm proud that such an important and timely document carries the name Bethesda, a community that stands for excellence in science and public service. What's happening right now at HHS, NIH, and FDA threatens the health of all Americans and the integrity of one of our nation's most important institutions. We should all be paying attention. America, and NIH in particular, has been an international magnet for scientists working in life sciences, and they've contributed greatly to the progress that's been made in medical research and its impact on all of our lives. Trying to strangle that research, which is what Trump, Musk, and Kennedy are trying to do, will send us backwards. It will also likely result in scientists, both American and foreign, who will begin to look for research opportunities in China, the rest of Asia, and Europe. Places where scientific inquiry is valued, where science knowledge is important, and where they are not hamstrung by politicians who have no respect for science and no knowledge about the subject which they're attempting to regulate. What's most disturbing is the reaction of the Republican House and Senate. In Trump's last term, when he tried to defund NIH, Congress united across party lines not only to restore funding, but to increase NIH's funding. They were eloquent about why NIH was important to America and Americans. They are now silent, accomplices to the destruction of one of the most respected institutions in the world. The only word for this 180-degree reversal in their positions on NIH is disgusting. They are placing loyalty to the president, who knows nothing about science or medicine, above their responsibilities to the American people, and it's shameful. And that's the only word I have for that. This Saturday, Juneteenth ceremonies begin with an opening night ceremony of music and dance. The Bethesda Theater will host the show featuring gospel artist Erica Campbell and the Howard University Gospel Choir. Saturday's concert will be followed by an interfaith brunch on Sunday, a cheer clinic on Monday, a basketball clinic on Tuesday, and a football clinic on Wednesday, before a full day of activities on the holiday Thursday, June 19th. This is the largest June 19th celebration in the DMV. It is a festival that honors Scotland's rich past, but also brings the community together in many ways. I applaud Scotland community leaders for recognizing the need to use this exposure in events to uplift and bring awareness to other historic Black communities across Montgomery County and the greater DC metro area. Additionally, the foundation saw an opportunity to support other underserved organizations doing impactful work. I encourage everyone to share the JuneteenthScotland.org website and plan for a special week ahead. This week, Montgomery County also recognized Caribbean American Heritage Month with a proclamation at the County Council and the annual ceremony hosted by the county. It is an important time for all 5 million Americans of Caribbean heritage. And I also want to thank everyone celebrating here in Montgomery County for the work you do to better our community, which does not go unnoticed. I've admired one particular Caribbean American for most of my life. Harry Belafonte was one of the first Black singers to break through with a popular hit on the radio in the 1950s. But he was more than a singer. He had a long track record as a civil rights activist and an anti-war activist who worked to change lives and advance social equity across our nation. Even though he died in 2023, there are still many lessons that can be learned from his activism. His unwavering support of justice in the face of intolerance remains an inspiration. Montgomery County is proud to be a home to such a vibrant Caribbean population that has enriched our communities for generations and will continue to add its unique flavor to our community for a long time to come. Montgomery County Public Libraries will finish the school year this week, but kids eager to keep learning are going to have the Summer Reading Challenge to look forward to. This year, Montgomery County Public Libraries is asking students to color our world from June 14th to August 34th. It's a celebration countywide of culture, creativity, and connection for all ages. Children up to 12 can earn digital badges by completing themed activities that highlight local arts organizations building connections to Montgomery County's vibrant arts scene. Teens between 13 and 17 can track books they've read and complete creative activities to earn exclusive prizes and recognition. Adults can take part too by reading and attending program events to be eligible for exclusive giveaways. Of course, we want to see this spur more reading in our community, but it is also about connection, exploration, and ensuring everyone has access to enriching experiences. This challenge is made possible with the generous support of our community partners, including Friends of the Library, the Washington Nationals, Levine Music, Olney Theater Center, Brewster's Ice Cream, and the Arts and Humanities Council of Montgomery County. You can sign up at any library branch or online at montgomerycountymd.gov/library. While you're there, check out our new MCPL Library app. It can help you access the library's catalog and keep track of your account easily from your phone or your tablet. When you are at the library, you can also check out a book directly through the app and skip the line. Enjoy your summer and the convenience of using the library from anywhere you are, as long as you sign up for a free library card and download the app. So that's a wrap for today. I hope you have a great and safe weekend, and I'll be back again next week. Take care.